established as a suburban cul-de-sac, but it contained something much more valuable to them than curb appeal, a strong community.
I live in a bad neighborhood. At least that's what people said about it. Cottage Grove Avenue, said a friend, that's a bad neighborhood. A coworker said, I wouldn't buy there. There's no resale value. One mother was appalled. Don't you want your kids to go to a good school? Even our real estate agent sat me down and said, think about your wife's safety. Soon the fear began to sink in. I called our friends who lived there and asked, do you feel safe? They laughed. Have you been talking to real estate people again? They invited us to dinner in the bad neighborhood. As we drove up, I scanned the streets as if on a recon mission in Fallujah. But our friends welcomed us in, poured wine, gave thanks, and passed homemade bread. After dessert, they brought out crime statistics on a map from local police. Sure enough, in the blocks surrounding us, a vacant house had been vandalized. Drugs confiscated from a woman. A man passed out in a yard. This was as bad as college. Then I noticed the same crime symbols dotting the rest of the city. Robberies, rapes, domestic violence. That month, burglaries and auto thefts were worse in a wealthy suburb. And that's when I realized that all those warnings really weren't about crime, real estate values, or schools. They were code words white folks like me used to signal low-income people of color. A perfectly concealed racist weapon hidden deep in the anxious beliefs of my own friends and colleagues. I believe sometimes the truth does set people free. So we bought the house on Cottage Grove Avenue. That was 10 years ago. No one told me that the day we moved in, a pack of joyful kids would run over to meet our kids. That our historic house would cost less than a minivan. About Demetrius raising his nieces while their mother is doing time. About Jose and Maria's burrito place. Or about Mike, the ponytailed Harley biker who one day stepped out directly in front of a speeding car. Hey, he yelled to the startled driver, slamming his fist on the hood. There's kids around here. In my bad neighborhood, we sit on front porches, hear the neighbor girls jazz, double dutch, jump rope riffs, and buy snow cones on hot days out of a cooler and an old guy's shopping cart. Sure, there are nuisances here. Litter, barking alley dogs, clutter in some yards. But as far as danger, I've learned that stupid behavior is colorblind, and bullets prefer alcohol and drug deals over law-abiding citizens any day. I love my neighborhood. It balances my life, shows me real color, and saves me from things far worse than litter or a stolen Subaru, like the blindness and coded racism of privilege.
Jeff Nixa has lived in the near-north neighborhood of South Bend, Indiana since 1996. His essay was produced by John Gregory and Dan Gettleman for This